Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz, your host of the Raiders Report, and coming up here on today's live Thursday show, we will do some happy hour stuff. I had somebody ask me, Mitch, after a crazy 3-day NFL draft, are we going to get down on happy hour? And I was like, you know what? Chugs and I got a 3-day weekend. Don't worry, we spent a lot of time yesterday and a lot of time on Tuesday and Monday to make sure that you guys were going to have multiple videos over the weekend. I promise I got you covered, and as always, if any breaking news does end up going down, we will be able to break it down for you guys live here on the Raiders Report. But one of the things that we're going to talk about here on today's show is we're going to get into the latest Raiders news. Some big front office stuff happened yesterday. The Raiders signed the tallest wide receiver in the NFL today. Also, they invited the running back to camp. We'll break that all down. And probably, I would say, the number one question that I have been asked over the past, I'll say 24 hours, are my thoughts on the Henry Ruggs situation, because Josh Jacobs went on the pivot and kind of said, certain things about Henry Ruggs, the Raiders' old wide receiver. So coming up here on today's show, I'm just going to give you my most honest thoughts on the entire Henry Ruggs situation. That's going to be coming up here on today's show. We have 123 people tuned in right now. Appreciate all of y'all being here. I see my man Rebel Montana already here in the building. Brian, I got you. Juice89. Havet Youngblood. Appreciate you. Trouble Nation. JC Gonzalez. If you want to shout out here on the Raiders Report, give me an LV down below. And friendly reminder, this is going to be a live interactive show, so if you use hashtag Raiders, we'll get your questions up here on screen. If you super chat, we will get you up here on screen. And we are going to have a few little drinkies where, we got some happy dads here. I'm not doing any boots. I'm not going to get absolutely outrageous unless Raider Ron or somebody's here to heckle Chugs about the Warriors and Rockets. But a huge, huge talking point that's been going on around the nation has been around wide receiver Amari Cooper. And I did a show on Tuesday saying that I don't think that it makes any sense for the Raiders to go out and bring in Cooper. Then there was a rumor after I put that show out from somebody on Twitter by the name of Slick Rick, and a lot of people kind of went with this story, and it was regarding the Raiders potentially be interested in Amari. And I've already given my 2 cents on this multiple times. My question to all of you, maybe you didn't see that show, type S for sign, type P for pass. And I love Raiders fans. But if there's one thing that I notice all the time, it's if there was a player that at one point was rocking the silver and black. And I know we always say once a Raider, always a Raider. And I will always consider Amari Cooper a Raider. But at the exact same time, are we falling short of a little recency bias? And I only say that because Amari Cooper gave up on the Raiders. And I think if Amari Cooper was, let's say, your girlfriend in high school or a girl that you were dating, 8 years ago, and if she were to give up on you the way Amari Cooper gave up on the Raiders, you wouldn't want to bring her back. So I do find it very interesting now that a lot of Raiders fans want to bring back Amari, and if you do, it's fine, right? Like, I'm not going to beat up anybody over it. I'm not going to yell at anybody over it. It's just going to be a conversation. For me personally, I'm going to type my P for pass on Amari. Now, if you told me we'd get him at the vet min, $1.2 million, sure, right? Anybody would go for that. But in terms of what he did to the Raiders and how good he's been over the past 2 seasons, I don't really think that he's even a good fit, because we need wide receivers that want to block. We need wide receivers that aren't selfish. And I think Amari Cooper showed me when he was with the Raiders, he wasn't willing to block and he was selfish. That's my stand on it. Let's go to Patrick Roche. What's going on, my brother? I like the sound of Tommy Mellott in the slot. Well, first off, it's Mellott, but hey, you do your thing. Interviewing Mellott was a lot of fun, and again, appreciate everyone that tuned into our live show. We did put out the full interview on the YouTube channel late afternoon. Mellott was just a small-town dude from Butte, Montana, one of the nicest dudes that I've ever been able to talk to, but I don't actually think people realize how amazing of an athlete that he is. And when you're talking about a 9.68 on that RAS score, he's going to really be able to go out there, impress a lot of people, and I'm excited to see how they use him on special teams. I'm excited to see some of the trickery that the Raiders could do, because one of the things that, he told me, and he said yesterday briefly, or technically Tuesday briefly, but he was talking to Chugs and I off air about it, was like, you think about how creative somebody like Chip Kelly is, right? How creative somebody like Chip Kelly is, how creative John Spytek is, And then how creative Pete Carroll has been, and you combine that with somebody's skill set of a Tommy Millott, I think the Raiders are going to do a lot more trickery plays than what we initially thought. I think it's also this. It's not going to be the trick plays that Josh McDaniels would run on the 40-yard line every single time. And my favorite Josh McDaniels thing, you knew it was coming. If it was 3rd down and 10, it was definitely a screen to Amir Abdullah. And then also, if it was at the 40-yard line, double reverse, try to throw it deep. It was like every single time for McDaniels. We do have a Super Chat menu today because, again, today is Thursday. We like to do Thursday happy hour. And if you don't know, we are doing a May jersey raffle. And I've had a lot of people tell me over the past, few years that we do this show, hey, man, sorry, I've been busy, haven't been able to watch the live shows, wish I could participate. So we are doing a May-long jersey raffle. It's going to be for an Ashton Genty jersey. So if you send in a $5 Super Chat during any of our live shows at any freaking point, in the entire month of May, you will be entered in for a chance to win a Genty jersey. If you don't get the opportunity to watch a live show, send in a super thanks, and you're also going to be entered in for a chance to win that jersey. We are going to do the jersey raffle at the very, very end of May, Friday, May 30th, so we'll be live for that show. Be on the lookout for that. Just wanted to put that out there. For the deals that we got today, though, every 100 likes, I'm giving away a free duck. So usually we do $20 Venmos to get in a duck race. Today, I want to do a $10 Venmo to get in the duck race. And then once we hit 100 likes, I'll say, hey, the next person to send me a $10 Venmo, I'm going to give you an extra duck into the duck race. If we get a $100 Venmo, it's a bang. Plus, is that what we're doing? I don't think so. I was going to say, timeout here, Chugs. Timeout here, Chugs. I'll say this one is a little bit different. So today we're doing a $100 Super Chat, counts as one bang, and we're going to put down a beer bong. If we get a $100 Venmo, it's going to count as 2 bangs, and I'm putting down a beer bong. So I know that we didn't do a lot of the craziness Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know if y'all can still tell my voice is still not 100% recovered from the NFL draft, and I'm pretty sure I blew out a vocal cord screaming Raiders at the end of that Tommy Millott interview. I'm telling you, go back, watch the Tommy Millott interview when him and I scream Raiders, which he's definitely got to work on. But I'm pretty sure you can hear you can hear my voice crack. I mean, it is like puberty, balls drop, Adam's apple, all at the exact same time. It's all good. All right, now we got it. So $100 Super Chat counts as a bang. We're going to put down a beer bong. Again, the only way Thursday happy hour really makes sense is if y'all are watching at home. We have 325 people. In my mind, if 1% of our viewers participate in happy hour with me, which is when I put down a beer, hopefully you put down a beer, or at least give me a little cheers. If you're under the age of 21, go get some water. Go get a Gatorade. Go get some Pedialyte, whatever you need to do. Let's go to my man, Rebel Montana. What up, Reb? Joining Coop in the couch, watching Marsh Knicks. Though, one of the very first things that I heard today, Rebel, which shout out to you for being a real one. And again, like I always say this, one of the biggest thank yous that you guys could ever do for me, for Chugs, for Chat Sports is when you go over to another channel and bang. And literally the very first thing that Coop said to me today, he walks in with this big shit grin on and he's like, Rebel banged on the show last night. And I was like, that's what's up. Like, I'm telling y'all right now, we talk about that stuff, I think, way more than what y'all realize.
All you Lakers and Warriors fans out there. Oh, my God. West Coast doesn't look like it's the best coast right now in the NBA. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying. Oh, my God. Lakers.
Do you still think that the Warriors, do you think it's going back to Houston?
If it's going back to Houston, Steph can book his trip to Aruba. If it goes back to Houston for a Game 7, Steph and Draymond can get those, Expedia deals going over to the Amalfi Coast. They can go somewhere else. If it goes to a Game 7, you best believe Golden State is going to turn into Golden Fake, because if it goes to a Game 7, the Rockets are coming out on top. You can bet your bottom dollar, and I'm talking right to you, Raider Ron. If you're watching, the Rockets, if it goes to a Game 7, the Warriors will be done with their 2025 NBA season.
All right, I got a question for you. I know Sunday we are off. It's 7:30. If we get 10 bangs today, 10 bangs today, and if the Rockets beat the Warriors tomorrow, would you go live on Sunday with me to watch Game 7? It's at 7:30 our time, Sunday. I know it's kind of like a weird timing thing.
Oh,
it's tough.
Yeah. The only thing is, I don't know if me and
we'll
Danny
say
have any
TBD.
plans. Yeah.
Believe me when I tell you this, I don't know if I have plans this weekend. So I'm making a deal right now, and I don't even know if I can do it.
I was going to say, I don't want to make the deal and then be like, babe, we have our dinner with the president or something. I don't know.
I'll just say this, man. There's a chance that we could go live for that game. I know Chugs and I have talked about doing those lives for a while, and it's always fun when we can kind of, mix it up here a little bit. I promise you this. If we get 10 bangs, no matter what, even if Chugs and I can't go live for that game, I will pull up on Sunday, 7:30, that's Central Time, when our Warriors channel goes live, and I'll party with the Warriors channel.
I was going to say, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I was going to say, if maybe we could do like an at-home style live style thing. But
nah, see, I feel like if we're going to do it, we should do it the right way. And if we can't do our own live stream with it, I think I'm just going to pull up 7:30 Central Time and party it up with Smitty over on Warriors. Because I'll tell you this, the way that those streams have been going, I saw the other day you had 12,000 people watching them. Imagine a Game 7, Rockets-Warriors. It would be absolutely flipping electric, man. Absolutely flipping electric. Let's go to Lost in Your Mom. Hey, guys, hell of a draft. I had an interview for a teaching job on Monday, and they called me today saying they want me to move forward with a second interview. Can I get a Raiders?
Can you imagine the call? They're like, hey, is your mom available?
I mean, I'll tell you this.
Lost in Your Mom?
I was going to say, I hope your email, like for a job, like imagine you're like, all right, we'd like to move forward. And you have to send an email. And it's like, what's your email? lostinyourmom56@gmail.com. I'm like, all I say is this. I hope that your email's different than your YouTube name. But congratulations to you. Keep on doing your thing. A teaching job. What are you teaching? Because when I was a kid.
History of the Raiders.
When I was a kid, that's something Pete Carroll should teach. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a gym teacher. It was like the number one thing I wanted to do. I was like, you're telling me I can just play kickball, dodgeball, and just F around at gym class all day? Can you imagine me as a gym teacher now? Honestly, I can, quite frankly. Like, if you were to ask me, and I know I say this often, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, what would I do? Part of me thinks I might be a gym teacher. Let's go to Patrick Roche. Sorry about the spelling sometimes. Have a hard time typing, so use voice control. I'm just busting your balls, Patrick. Again, I think Thursday happy hour is always about, like, if we can't have a little bit of fun with each other.
I will say.
It's also coming from me.
Something that I've learned from super chatting on a couple shows, the YouTube keyboard, is it me or is it just really, like,
finicky.
sensitive?
It's very finicky. There was, I was trying to send a super chat yesterday, actually, on Warriors, which I sent a $100 Venmo to give away some spots for a jersey, but I tried to send in a super, and when I would hit space, it would, like, dude, it spaced them out so far.
Yeah.
So I tried to just type, like, give away some jerseys, and that's not even that many words. It was like, you have too many characters. I don't know. It was a really weird thing. Patrick Roche, it's all love, my man. And guess what? You're in again for a chance to get a Genty jersey. My brother from another mother, Sean Irish. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we use Sir Lance Malott.
Oh, that's a great one.
Dude.
Sir Lance Malott?
Dude, Lord Sir Lance Malott. He no doubt has a plot of land somewhere.
He's a lord.
I mean, no, I'm not going to lie. I like Sir Lance Malott. After watching his film, the man is electric. Tomorrow is my birthday. Can I get some love from the nation? You know what? Sean Irish, I'm going to put you in for a chance to win some money today in our duck race. This one's going to be on the house. Also, speaking of which, if you send in a $10 Venmo right now, the next person to do it, I'm going to put you in for a chance to win some money. Sean Irish, I got you in, my man. I got you in. Which, again, today, a little bit of a laid-back happy hour style of show, and I'm just being very transparent. Also, one of our chat sports She's an OG in my mind. Allie Barefoot, today is her last day at Chat Sports, so we're going out. I think we might go just like say goodbye to her. So we're not going to be here too late today. I kind of told Jeremy I got to try to get out of here in like probably like an hour, 75 minutes, 90 minutes. Again, now if today's show gets crazy, we can always stay a little bit longer for a Thursday happy hour.
Yeah,
but
screw Allie.
You said it, not me. She did bring in cookies today, so I was like, yeah, you know what? We got to kind of lean into it a little bit. But if you want to get in for a chance to win some money at the very end of today's show, it is a $10 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365, and the first person that gets in, I'm going to give you a duck, and the person that I see that is in is Raymond Sanchez. So Raymond Sanchez, you, sir, are going to get the very first duck. I also see my man Tony Knutson. What up, Tony? Good to have you here, my brother. And then I also got, nope, that's it. So right now, it is a $10 Venmo for a chance to win $20 here on the Raiders Report. The other segment that we are going to do today is going to be a mailbag. So typically we do 3 segments on a live, but again, because today's Allie's last day, there's a few different little odds and ends here at Chat Sports. And Chugs and I did already film another video today that will go out over the weekend. So kind of be on the lookout for that. And I'm just going to tell you ahead of time, because Jeremy and I filmed some of these videos ahead of time, you might hear me say David Agoa's name. I know he's not part of the Raiders anymore. I know the Raiders have a new International Pathway Program player who we will talk about today. Also, we talk about some wide receivers in some future videos. You're not going to see somebody by the name of Collin Johnson, who the Raiders went out and signed today. He's 6'6", former Texas wide receiver.
Big luck. Gonna miss Salami.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. It's kind of a tough one, just because you obviously get to know people very well, but I actually don't think people realize at times how often we do work. And I know there's a lot of people that work a lot, but we do honestly work quite a bit here at Chat Sports. And I see Jeremy more than I see Alex. I see a lot of people out there in that bullpen that we work with more than I see our families. And it's just the truth. We're young guys. We're trying to grind it out, trying to create this really awesome company for more people to be able to build and achieve their dreams as well. But it sucks, man. When you lose somebody, you feel like you're losing a part of your family. But it's still all good. Use hashtag Raiders, or you can skip the line to get on the show with a super chat. The final thing that we will do on today's episode is we're going to do that $10 duck race. If you want a chance to get in, I am at Mitchell Renz 365. I see somebody from Mount Raidermore down there in the chat. What up, Scheffler? It's good to see you, my brother Ed Robbins. I see you, my man King Shav.
Chef was broken up a little bit.
Yeah, I heard Chef was upset, which I bet, Ed Robbins, I'm sure, was upset. I know Nabman's been upset about the news. And luckily, though, Smitty, he's done an amazing job on Celtics, and he's going to be able to take over that channel and, make sure we're holding it down. Since we're kind of talking about the NBA right now, there's 2 games on tonight. There's Knicks-Pistons, which if anybody wants to go party with Marshall Green, Rebel, I already know that you're probably there. You've been there all day. He's going to go live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to go party Knicks-Pistons, it's Game 6 there. It's a big one. Also, Clippers versus Nuggets. My question to you is, what is the better game? Is it Knicks and Pistons type 1? Is it Clippers and Nuggets type 2? What's your take on it?
This is a tough one because I think they're both really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian. I think I'm going to go 2 because I think the Knicks are going to get a dub tonight, and I think the Clippers and Nuggets has a chance to be a little bit closer. I hope for Marshall's sanity the Knicks win tonight.
I don't know. Game 7 Marsh seems pretty electric.
If the Knicks don't win tonight, you will see an automatic just absolute crash out, and that's why you got to tune into our Knicks channel.
If the Knicks lose more or less than 100 F words on that stream. Again, we're talking about like a 3-hour plus stream. More or less 100 F-bombs.
If the Knicks lose tonight, you will see I will guarantee a Fire Tom Thibodeau tweet. I will guarantee
that might come out if they win.
I will guarantee a Mikal Bridges needs to be traded / moved on tweet.
Yeah.
Guarantee him.
Okay. Hey, I know that it's going to happen. For me personally, the game that I think is actually the more interesting game to watch is Clippers-Nuggets. I think it's been the better series. Both series have been good, though. Knicks, though, I think the last time, I think Marsha was like talking about it, where they blew like a 3-1 lead before, and now Brunson's banged up here a little bit. I want the Knicks to advance. In terms of the Clippers and Nuggets, I don't really care who advances. I'll be honest with you. I literally do not care. But if I was a team, I wouldn't want to play the Nuggets.
A small part of me wants Clippers because I'm still a little bit of a James Harden truther.
Sure.
Even though everybody out there called me crazy for saying Luka Doncic is basically the exact same player as James Harden, which he is. They are which is not a slight on Luka either. I'm saying James Harden is one of the best players to ever do it, and I'm comparing Luka to him, which should be praised, but our Mavs guys see it as some sort of slight.
Yeah,
I don't get.
I mean, James Harden, I know Max and James are very close, and James Harden is Max Crosby's favorite NBA player, so I know he's kind of like a Clippers guy right now, rooting for Harden, and because of that, I like to be able to watch Harden do his thing out there, but at the same exact time, it's so fun being able to watch Jokic, and he's just so clearly just makes everybody else around him a lot better. He plays basketball
like he hates it,
but he's just moving slowly, and it kind of reminds me of somebody that plays pool basketball, where they're like just nonchalantly going through the motions, and they're just dishing it out, they're dunking it, unbelievable. Both games, though, are going to be absolutely electric. Let's go to Lost in Your Mom, high school social studies, and yes, I have a professional email.
It's Mr. Lost in Your Mom.
Lost in Your Dad, 69 at gmail.com. Social studies. Thoughts on cornerback Mello Dotson? I'll tell you this right now. I think Dotson is one of these really intriguing players.
I was going to say, if you want to give a short answer, I'm going to actually use this as one of the top ones on our mailbag because I actually really like this question.
Okay, so this is going to we are going to do a mailbag today, Young. And again, if you want to get in it, hashtag Raiders or Super Chat.
We've actually gotten some really good questions so far from Young Psycho, and then Raider Rob. Maybe just a small teaser, but we're going to answer this furthermore in our mailbag later on today.
I like Mello Dotson, and I think he's got a legit shot to make the 53 because he can play nickel. And because of that, that's going to give him an opportunity. Raider Rob, Mitch, your opinion on...
Can and should we get a CB, maybe Asante Samuel Jr. and or a safety Justin Simmons? Got my Ginty jersey, and it's fire.
I love it, man. I did a video earlier in the week, Raider Rob, about some...
How did you get a Ginty jersey yet?
Well, it's not from me. I think he just got one.
No, but like if you got it already, he doesn't have his number yet.
True.
Like
maybe he's saying like he already ordered it.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that would be my guess, unless he, I don't know, did like a custom jersey.
And he was just like, you know what? He's gonna wear two.
He's gonna wear a number, no doubt about it. I'll say this: Justin Simmons, I've talked about in great lengths on my Raiders free agent targets video, which that went out earlier in the week. Please go check it out. I talk about a bunch of free safeties. I also talk about a bunch of corners. And I know Asante Samuel Jr. is a name that gets brought up a lot.
Wow, that is calling your shot. He says, no, I ordered it and I customed it with the number 2. Wow.
I mean, that's putting your balls on the table. You know that meme from South Park where the guy's got his nutsack in the wheelbarrow? That's Raider Rob right now. He's like...
Dude, that's a lot of trust that he's going to get that number.
I mean, will Daniel Carlson give it up? Carlson's in the final year of his deal.
Raider Rob, how mad would you be if Carlson didn't give him that number?
I'll say this. If Genty wants to, they'll figure out a way. They might make Carlson's 2 upside down to make sure that 2.
What number do you want Genty to wear? I kind of like to see him wear 0, but I don't. Are they allowed to wear 0 because of?
They have Ja'Cory Bennett has 0 right now.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, if Genty wants to rock 2, and he said 2 is a family number, like 2 is an important number to Genty, so I would imagine he's going to try to get it. But Asante Samuel Jr., back to your question here, Rob, and I'll kind of go into a little bit more depth. He is a outside corner. And I don't think the Raiders need an outside corner. We need somebody that can play in the slot. And there's 2 other cornerbacks that I could see the Raiders potentially showing interest in that play in the slot. If you want to know those 2 names, go check it out. You know who Raider Rob 1969 looks like?
The dude from
Seinfeld. I was going to say Jurassic Park.
That's the same guy.
Is it? Okay. The Jurassic Park Barbasol guy. I mean...
Oh, wait, no, that's not the same guy.
Not the same guy?
I'm thinking of
Do you know who I'm talking about? Like in Jurassic Park, it's like, Got to say the magic word.
No. It's this one. He looks like this guy from.
You got. I don't know who you're talking. I've never really watched Seinfeld.
He was also in Space Jam.
Raider Rob, yes or no? Do you know who I'm talking about, Raider Rob? Does anybody else see it? You look like the dude that was trying to steal dinosaurs with Barbasol.
This guy. Is that who you're thinking
shit.
of?
That's not who I'm thinking of, but I can see it. All right, can you look up the other guy?
Just Jurassic.
Jurassic Park. Barbasol guy. I don't know his name. They're saying it's the same guy. Which maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Is it the same guy? That would actually be funny. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's the same guy.
Same guy? All right, perfect. I'm literally like looking at it and I'm like, how many dinosaurs do you have in your Barbasol can? Wayner Knight is the guy from Jurassic Park. The next Jurassic Park opens July 2nd on my birthday.
Which that one actually looks cool. It's Jurassic World.
Wait, you're telling me, Rob, Jurassic Park opens July 2nd on your birthday. Now I'm suspicious. They are probably my favorite. Like, if you were to tell me what my niche would be in the trivia league that you guys do, I would say Jurassic Park.
You've seen every movie?
Every movie.
Every one of them?
Every single one.
Even the ones with Chris Pratt?
Like those are Jurassic World. I said Jurassic Park. But yes, I've also seen those. Jurassic Park I have on VHS.
My bad.
I'm just telling you. I got all
technically,
three on.
Sir, those are Jurassic World. That's not Jurassic Park, sir.
Give me some Jurassic Park trivia today. $5 super chat.
What's the guy that
Jurassic Park trivia.
What's the name of the actor who plays the Barbasol can guy?
No, I don't know that. That's not Jurassic Park. That's actor. That's like things that happen in the movie. Jurassic Park, 1, 2, 3. $5 super chat. You're in for a Genti jersey. If I get it wrong, I got to take a drink.
All right. We're going to get into
It's Thursday. Let's get it.
This first segment, and I'm going to ask everybody.
Cheers to all y'all.
To please be somewhat cordial, because I know the first part of this show is going to divide a lot of people.
Yep. So please be respectful in the comments, and I want us to be able to talk about anything on this show, no matter how difficult the conversation is going to be. So I have had so many people ask me my thoughts about the Ruggs situation. I am going to give you my honest thoughts about the Ruggs situation. If I see any hate, any horrible talk, even about Ruggs, even about, Tina Tinter, her family, anything, I am going to block you. All I ask you to do is, if you're going to talk about it, let's be adults here. Imagine you're walking into Chugs and I's home. You wouldn't say outlandish stuff in our home if we were together. That's my only ask here. I will say this. We did get a few more people that are getting in the duck race, and oh, man. Let me just say this. Somebody who I've never seen before is trying to get the party started. And I appreciate it. So, to Benjamin, I see you. We're going to do that after this first segment here. Because then we're going to put down some beers. Sound good? You ready?
I'm ready.
Benjamin wants to get this party started. And quite frankly, I respect the hell out of it. Coming up here, let's get into the latest around the Las Vegas Raiders and also my thoughts on the Henry Ruggs situation. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show, you're going to get my thoughts on the Henry Ruggs situation. So recently, Josh Jacobs was on the Pivot podcast and talked about, how Ruggs wanted to get back into the NFL. I'm just going to give you my most honest thoughts on this. And then, actually, a lot of stuff happened around the Raiders today and also yesterday. So we're just going to get into the latest around the silver and black. If you don't know what is happening right now around the latest around Ruggs and why we were talking about it again, it is because Ruggs does remain incarcerated at Casa Grande Transitional Housing, and he is eligible for his earliest parole, August 5th, 2026. Josh Jacobs said that Ruggs is staying in shape and is in hopes to return to the NFL. I've had a lot of Raiders fans ask me my questions regarding Henry Ruggs and whether or not he should come back to the NFL, whether or not that the Raiders would end up bringing him back. I'm going to give you my honest thoughts here, but first, this is what Josh Jacobs had to say on Ruggs. Keeping up with him and hearing him talk, it brings me spirits because he's always positive. He's positive about everything. He's training. They let him train and things like that. So I'm like, when you come out, man, I don't know if you will get a chance. I've been talking to some people for him. They've been saying a couple of teams are willing to give him a chance. I'm like, when you get that chance, man, you better not ever don't look back and prove to yourself and prove to everybody that one decision don't define you, who you are as a man. I respect Josh Jacobs for honestly willing to speak up, because I think anytime you talk about a situation that is going to rub people the wrong way, no matter how you do it, it's not easy to do. But you also got to remember, Ruggs and Jacobs were teammates back in college, and the relationships you build in the NFL, I think, are a lot different than the relationships that you build in college. I mean, you are going to battle with those guys every single day, especially with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Nick Saban did a great job there building a family atmosphere. So I know Jacobs was very close to Ruggs. I know Ruggs was very close to a lot of the Raiders players. So here's going to be my statement and my honest thoughts on the Henry Ruggs situation. If the Tinter family has forgiven him in regards to Ruggs and is fine with him, then who am I to say he shouldn't be allowed in the NFL? Personally, I will never root for somebody that drove 156 miles an hour and a 45 after 17 drinks. It's now been updated. The report is there were 20 drinks on the tab for Henry Ruggs, and I don't know if he drank all of those. But at the end of the day, a young woman passed away, and her dog burned alive in a vehicle. I hope that he is able to donate some of his checks to the Tinter family, and I hope that he's able to donate some of those checks to a charity that he gets a choice of. I just know that the Raiders aren't going to be the team that bring back Henry Ruggs. You got to tip your cap to Mark Davis, because he ended up going to the funeral, and I don't know if a lot of NFL owners would have taken time out of their day to go to the funeral of Tina Tinter and her dog Max. But I'm just going to leave it like that. I don't need anybody, and if you're watching this show, if you go down in the comments and you're acting like a jerk, shame on you. Let's just have a normal conversation, because at the end of the day, when we talk about Henry Ruggs, we're only talking about Ruggs. And I kind of get upset that we don't still remember Tina Tinter and her dog Max. So to Tina, to her dog Max, give a huge shout out to my man Brandon Jasper. I miss him a lot. But RIP's down below, because I don't really know what's going to happen with the Ruggs situation. But if it was up to me, and I'm telling you, I am never, ever going to root for Henry Ruggs. And I know people deserve a second chance. But I think there's a big difference between a second chance and being able to play in the NFL again. I think not spending your entire life in prison is a second chance. But if the Tinter family has forgiven him, because I think that's what we got to do as human beings. We got to be able to forgive people. And if the Tinter family has forgiven Henry Ruggs, then who am I to say that he doesn't deserve another shot in the NFL? Coming up next here on the Raiders Report, let's get into the latest news and rumors around the silver and black that I would say if you're a Raiders fan and you haven't seen this in the last 24 hours, that's why you should hit that subscribe button to the show, because I want to be able to keep you guys up to date. And this show, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Mitch is a reporter. I'm not a reporter. I know the show's called The Raiders Report, but you also got to remember, back in 2018 when we just started making YouTube videos, I was a normal person just like all of y'all that wanted to be able to make YouTube videos, and now we got this opportunity. But I'm not a reporter. I'm somebody that gives my honest opinions on a show, and if you're looking for somebody that's what he's going to do every single day, that's why you should subscribe. That's why you should turn those notifications on, and I want you to click all, because if the Raiders do something, we're going to make a video about it, and if it's really, really big news, we go live, because I like to interact with the nation. Let's go to the Raiders news that happened today. The Raiders went out and they signed a new International Pathway Program player, and this one technically didn't happen today. It happened yesterday. If you don't know who it is Laki Tassi, and he's 21 years old. He signed through the NFL's International Pathway Program, which, if you don't know, the Raiders also then had to move on from David Agoa, who was the other International Pathway Program player. Former rugby player, Samoan descent, so I know my guy Samoan Raiders probably super hyped up about it. From Australia, he played for the Ashgrove GPS Rugby Club, the Queensland Premier Rugby Union. I'll tell you this right now. When you are as big as what Tassi is, and you move as well as he does, I bet you he was scaring a lot of people out on that rugby field, no doubt about it. But when I talk about the Raiders' needs, and when you talk about what this team is looking for, I'm not going to lie to you. I actually heard a lot of good stuff about David Agoa, and I heard that he was, trending in the right direction. So for the Raiders to move on from Agoa and to get Tassi tells me that they actually like this guy a little bit more than what people think. Because, when I say International Pathway Program, I think a lot of people roll their eyes. You might be surprised on how impactful some of these players are. I mean, look at Jakob Johnson. He was our old fullback a few years ago. He was a part of that International Pathway Program player. You can find good stars, and rugby players are tough SOBs. And I think that that's one of the things that this team's trying to add, as many tough SOBs to the roster as they can. Let's go to another thing that happened here around the silver and black. The Raiders hired an assistant GM, and I put out a video on YouTube yesterday on both of these moves that ended up happening. And again, if you ended up missing it, it's all good. But the Raiders, they ended up hiring Broncos Director of College Scouting, Brian Stark, as their new assistant GM, and he's got some big shoes to fill in Champ Kelly. He was 13 years with the Denver Broncos. He was 8 years holding the position that he was holding, the Director of College Scouting. But now, sitting here, you got to go, well, why did this happen? You always got to look at what the connection is, what the relationship is, because I've said it probably every show since the Raiders have hired John Spytek and Pete Carroll. Relationships matter. And Brian Stark worked with John Spytek in 2013, 2014, and in 2015, back with their time together in Denver. And for anybody who's like, Mitch, what do you think about this hire? The Broncos, since that time, since he's been a part of that organization, have been one of the best teams finding talent in the drafts. So now you steal somebody away from your AFC West rival, you bring him into the silver and black with his buddy John Spytek. Honestly, it's a great hire. We got some more Raiders news coming up here in just a moment. If you're looking for an Ashton Jeanty jersey, you can go to chatsports.com/Raiders jerseys, or you go to chatsports.com/Jeanty, whatever one you're looking for. I will say this, if you already have a Jeanty jersey, like one of our earlier watchers here on our live show, and you're like, you know what, man, I need something else, then you can go to chatsports.com/Raider Rob, the Barbasol guy. I got you. So to everybody out there, if you want to help Jeanty be the number one selling jersey, I want to get him past Shador. I want to get him past Cam Ward. I want to get him past Travis Hunter. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders jerseys, or you go to chatsports.com/Jeanty. Sorry, those links are available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. If you also want to participate in our jersey raffle for the month of May, we're going to give away a Jeanty jersey Friday, May 30th. And if you're watching live, every $5 super chat that we get in the month of May, you're going to be entered in for a chance to win. But I get it. A lot of people are busy. If you don't have the opportunity to watch us live, send in the $5 super thanks. You will also be entered in. If you ask Mitch, if I send in 20 $5 super thanks, am I in? Yeah, 20 times. That's how it works. Let's go to some more Raiders news here that I got to keep the nation up on. We hired an assistant director of college scouting, and this is typically the time of the year where a lot of these moves do end up happening. And when you see a move go down, I always try to do my best to keep you guys up to date. So this is Ben Chester, and he is the team's assistant director of pro scouting after serving with the team as their pro scout since 2014, so they gave him a little bit of a bump. I saw some people asking me on Twitter, like, is this normal for teams to, kind of give, not raises, but give a promotion to somebody right after the NFL draft? And the answer to that is usually yes. So Jonathan Stiegel, who served as a national scout with the Jets last year, is headed to the Raiders as their assistant director of college scouting. Highly respected by his peers, Stiegel has won 3 Bart List Awards for scouting excellence as voted on by active NFL scouts, a true scouting lifer. He has also evaluated for the Browns, the Eagles, the Dolphins, and for the Bears. Let's keep it moving here on the show. The Raiders also invited a running back to camp, and, they've been kind of interesting they have 2 running backs right now that they invited to camp, and Kayvon Britton is the latest one. They officially asked him to join camp on April 27th is what I was told. Now, I am just getting information on it today, so that's why it's on the show today. But Britton finished 3rd for the Walter Payton Award in 2025. What's interesting about that is the Raiders, Tommy Millott, won the Walter Payton Award for Best Player in FCS. They also drafted Cam Miller, who finished 2nd in the award. So you're telling me all 3 players that had the opportunity to win the Walter Payton Award, essentially the Heisman in the FCS, could also be Raiders. Pretty wild. And when you look at his numbers the past 3 years, 722 carries, 4,168 yards, 50 touchdowns. This is a small school kid, really short running back, 5'7", 215. Dude is a bowling ball. If anybody's ever met Rebel Montana, imagine Rebel Montana with no fat on him running between tackles because he's 5'7", 215. Rebel, I got to be pretty damn close there. But 340 carries last year, almost 2,000 yards, 18 touchdowns. The Raiders want physical backs, and they keep on looking for physical backs. I can't wait to see Rebel's comment on that one. He's probably going to be like, go home, Mitch. I'm a Marsh fan now. Let's go to the final thing that happened today around the silver and black. And the Raiders, they went ahead and they signed a wide receiver. And again, anytime news happens, I do my best to keep you guys up to date. But the Raiders, they went out and they signed Collin Johnson. And as he stands, I should say, Johnson is the tallest wide receiver in the National Football League at 6'6", 222 pounds. Hasn't really done anything in the NFL. I honestly know him a little bit more just from his time with the Texas Longhorns. Despite there not being any overlap with Johnson and Steve Sarkisian with Texas, we still know that sometimes coaching overlaps and connections do run pretty deep. But for a guy like Johnson, long, lanky, athletic wide receiver, doesn't do really anything all that great in terms of a route tree. But go back and look at what the Raiders did this offseason. Draft, UDFA especially. They look for players with high character traits. They look for high character players. And they looked for dudes that were long, lanky, and athletic. Collin Johnson fits all of those things. He was also a former captain at the University of Texas. I appreciate all y'all that tuned in to today's show. And if you made it this far in the show, this is where I'm going to challenge my real ones out there. I already know because I talked about Henry Ruggs to start this video. You're going to get a lot of, I'm just going to be transparent, very bad comments down below. There's going to be a lot of disagreeing in the comment section. All I ask is this. Let's be adults. Let's be humans. Imagine you're walking into our house here at the Raiders Report. Treat everybody with respect because I want to be able to talk about everything because in my opinion, that's what family does. You talk about everything, even if it's hard topics to be able to talk about. I appreciate everyone that asked me about my opinion in this Henry Ruggs situation, and I will leave it with how I said this earlier. If the Tinter family has forgiven Henry Ruggs, then who am I to say that he doesn't deserve a shot in the NFL? So who you got tonight? Basketball, Knicks, Pistons. Type K for the Knicks, type P for the Pistons. Is this game at Madison Square Garden or is it in Detroit?
This would be in Detroit because the Knicks are the higher seed.
Oh, so that's right. I forgot that's how the NBA does it.
Game 6 will be in Detroit, and if they go to a game, because it's 2-2 and then 1-1-1.
Yep. I see Gilbert Moreno's typing K.
Would you rather it that, or would you rather have it 2-3-2?
I like the way it is now. I like the 2-2-5-6-7, where I can remember a few series because they just recently changed it back. It used to be 2-3-2. I'm pretty sure it used to be. I mean, you can go on a serious run when that happens, or maybe that's in baseball. I don't remember. I'm going to hope the Knicks win, but
Sean Davis says, Chugs, tired of your NBA guarantees. You know nothing about hoops. Stay in Uter lane, fool. Go Dubs.
Go Dubs. Sean Davis, what's up, man? Stay
in Uter lane as well.
Or maybe it's our lane. I don't know.
Good luck, foot.
You got to tell him.
Good luck.
You got to tell him what happened there.
I'm
going for the Knicks.
I got Allie Barefoot a cookie cake for her last day, and what I wanted it to say is good luck, foot. And I went up to the counter, and there was a nice older woman back there, and I hand her the cake, and I'm like, can you, first I grab it. I'm like, hey, can you write on this cake? And kind of mute. She just gives me a head nod. Should have known then that maybe I needed more clarification. But I go, oh, awesome. I want it to say good luck, foot. And she was like, just nods. I was like, okay. Gave her the cake, writes on it, gives it back to me. I start walking away, and I look down, and it says, good luck, foot.
What's it? I think the G was a C.
Yeah. The U was an O.
The U was an O. Foot she got right.
Yeah.
But imagine a cookie cake's this big, right? It was like in the corner.
Yeah, she also didn't space it right.
It was not spaced correctly at all.
Good luck, food.
So, good luck out there to everybody. Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, Yoda, I'm gonna do that in the future.
Always write it down. We've learned that.
I thought the hardest part was gonna be foot. I thought good luck, we were solid.
Solid.
The only part I was worried about was the foot.
I mean, imagine if she would have made your last cake. So the last cake Chug's got, and they do a trivia league, these guys here at Chat Sports, a few of them do it. And Chug's team, this is probably, 2 years ago at this point, beat one of our other guys here at Chat Sports. His name's Petey. He does Browns, Falcons, and Broncos. So, yeah, F Sam, right? But Chug's got Petey a cake that said, "Eat shit, Petey," with a giant poop emoji.
And he didn't eat it.
Wasn't a fan, hard to believe.
Let me know.
Hard to believe.
If somebody got you a cake that said, "Eat shit, Mitch," would you have a slice of that cake?
You know how I am with food. I mean, it could probably say just about anything, as long as it's not like degrading to like one of my family members or like somebody that I care about or to the nation. I'm gonna eat that cake, dude. Like, I don't throw away anything. I am Chat Sports' human garbage dispenser.
Rebel, so the cake today was a cookie cake. That was the
cake.
flavor of the cake today. It was just, I guess, chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, just
Which chocolate chip cookie cake.
I don't care what anybody says. Chocolate chip cookie cake is good every time.
I don't remember
With
what
some
the
coffee?
PD one was.
It was just chocolate cake.
I think it was either I think it was just like a white cake with white icing. I think it was just like one of the birthday cakes that they had there.
Yeah, maybe. I can remember.
Maybe it
the
was
poop
chocolate.
emoji.
I can't remember.
Petey probably remembers. All right, man. We got 550 people here in the building. We are 10 likes away from giving away a free duck for a chance to win some money today. The last time that I checked, we have right now, it's a $10 Venmo for a chance to win $40 here on today's show. I also sent you a message when you get a sec. What up, Gunny? What up, fam? I'm in SaveAWarrior.org for veterans and first responders who are struggling. Semper Fi. If you guys do not know, LA Crash Dog is one of the realest in the game. And some of you maybe have heard of Wounded Warrior. It's essentially, and again, Gunny, if I'm speaking out of line, please don't be afraid to, tell me. But SaveAWarrior.org is, I would say, similar. And I don't remember the exact reason why it's a little bit different. So, Gunny, if you could explain it to me. But essentially, SaveAWarrior.org. Tell them Father Tom sent you. If you guys ever want to help out, SaveAWarrior.org/donate. And we've done a few shows around it before. And I think anytime somebody can, talk about what they're proud of or, what they're passionate about,
had that one ready.
Please do not ever feel afraid to do it.
Had that one ready for you.
We always got it ready for you, Gunny. You're a real one, bro. What up? I do look Dino Man. I'm thinner and an edge gel dude. So you're not a Barbasol guy.
Do you think he looks more like him, or do you think he looks more like...
When I think of Barbasol, I can remember when I was a kid in elementary school and even preschool, where one of the best days when I was a kid, your teachers just spray a table with Barbasol and you just drew pictures in the shaving cream.
I think you look more like him from...
Anybody else do that? It was really one of the best days when I was a kid.
I think you look more like him in Space Jam, though.
In Space Jam?
This was him in Space Jam.
Yeah, now that you say Space Jam, I'm like, yeah, it's definitely him. Definitely the same guy, though. I'm a bigger Jurassic Park fan than I am a Space Jam fan. So that's what came to my mind. Raider Rob, appreciate you, dude.
Let's get to the mail sack, but wait. What is that?
What?
Do you hear it?
Is it the headset? Oh, I think it's this. Benjamin Shinkle! Bang! I mean, I don't know what a shinkle is, but I think it would look like this. How much do you want? Imagine you go to an ice cream parlor.
Raider Rob, it's the same guy.
I just need a Shinkle.
It's the same guy, but I think him in Space Jam, he's a little bit skinnier than in Jurassic Park.
Benjamin Shinkle.
Shinkle bang!
Shinkle bang, Shinkle bang. The way he move.
I go crazy because she look like flower, but she sting
like
bee.
bee. The
Like every
prettiest
other girl in history.
Shinkle. Dude, what a legend. What do you think that guy's doing? I don't know. Cheers to Benjamin, today's MVP, and so far, May's MVP with 2 bangs.
212 likes as well, or 218 likes. Have we already given 1 spot away?
We've already given 1 spot away.
How about this? Spam Shinkle if you want an opportunity for a free duck. This is for the Ginty.
It's for a duck race.
For the duck race today.
For the duck race today. Yep. If you want a chance to get a duck, a free duck, spam Shinkle. Though, Shinkle, I'm just going to add you just because you already did this, so that's pretty legendary. Let me know if you want a chance to get in for an extra duck. And no, I'm not ducking around. I'm not ducking around. Though, I just refreshed my phone. The person that is getting the extra duck is Carlos Carpenter. You got the extra duck. Richard Kelly, you're in. Norman Hernandez, you're in. It is a $10 Venmo right now for a chance to win $65 here on today's show. Shinkle. I see Andy, Andres, Mike. It's a crazy name. Cabe Smooth. What up, what up? Raider Nation 88. What up?
He was with us all during the draft, and I see him spamming it. Let's go Jonathan Smith.
Smith. Actually, let me see if I have
Jonathan Smith.
You know what? Actually, I don't know. How about this? Put Smith in for the Genty jersey because I don't know if I have his Venmo.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I have his Venmo. So Jonathan Smith, I'm putting you in for the Genty jersey, which I'm pretty sure you were one of the people that I gave a follow back to, either on Instagram or Twitter, Jonathan. Let me know if you can confirm that with me. And because I'm pretty sure that I gave you a follow back. So if you do end up winning, I can just, send you like all the details. We can talk that way. But I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he said yeah. I was gonna say your picture's the same, so that's why I was like I recognize that picture, which it's probably one of the only things I remember from the draft. Quite frankly, the draft at this point is a little bit of a blur. I see we got a few more people getting in. I see Tony Parkinson. I gotcha. Tony Park. I gotcha. Which again, appreciate y'all pulling up. What happened? So now we are at $10 Venmo for a chance to win $75 here on the Raiders Report. Next segment coming up here on the show is going to be
the mailbag.
Raiders Report mailbag. So if you want, hashtag Raiders, or you can super chat to skip the line for a chance to get in. And again, I want to talk about trade stuff, post-draft, cut candidates, any trending topic around the Raiders. Please, 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 don't be afraid to ask us anything.
We actually do have a couple super chats.
Yep.
That are like Raider question super chats.
Uh-huh.
So I can go to those here really quick for you.
All right, let's do it.
TJ.
Chugged one with you. I want a duck. WTF. TJ Parkinson, one of the realest in the game. And again, every time somebody bangs, if you're at home and you're participating the way that we originally designed this show, every time I bang and put one back, you put one back with me. LA Crash Dog, Sable Warriors focused on stopping the insanely high rate of suicide amongst those communities. We lose 22 veterans every day to suicide, also PTSD. And that's why you go to SaveAWarrior.org/donate and tell them that Father Tom sent you. If you don't know who Father Tom is, he's right there. LA Crash Dog. That's my guy right there. All right, y'all, let's get into.
And we still do have a couple slots open. So if you don't have money to super chat, that's perfectly fine. Hashtag Raiders in the comment section so I can pull your question. Because like I said, we still have a couple of slots open for question spots on this mailbag.
Yep.
So one way you can super chat with your question, but if you're not able to, you can still get on. All you got to do, hashtag Raiders in the comment section.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And then after that, we're going to have a little bit of happy hour, though. Like I said, we have to get out of here a little bit earlier today just because today's Allie's last day and, you know, we're doing some stuff as a company. So just be on the lookout for that. Well, do we do it now? I think we can do it now. Vedrak! Bang! Vedrak! Mount Raidermore! Mr. Vendrak. You crazy SOB, you. You crazy, crazy SOB, you. Hello from last year's May Bang MVP. Love to my Mount Raidermore and Silver and Black Hills fam. If you guys want a fun little fact, Venthrak set the record this year for most bangs in a month until, unfortunately, Venthrak Ron broke it this past month. But Venthrak is our most recent Mount Raidermore member. So cheers to my man Venthrak, who is now in second place for our May Bang race. Venthrak, cheers to you, my brother. I'm not going to lie, the cold beer kind of helps out my throat. Alex, though, kind of likes my voice right now. She's like, it's raspy. You know what I mean?
Dylan Brooks for 3. Bang! That's what y'all are going to hear.
I tell you this, my voice is, it's been going through it. A lot of honey, a lot of saltwater gargling.
It's always been Rockets in 5 or Rockets in 7. It's always been Rockets in 7.
Nobody ever said anything else.
Rockets in 7.
You better hope Ron's not here, or he's gonna make you do something. I fear for you if Ron ends up pulling up here. All right, y'all, let's get into this mailbag, and then I just got an interesting Venmo, which is gonna really get this show rocking and rolling. Shout out to Patrick is all I'm gonna say. Shout out to Patrick. After this mailbag, go get a few. We're going to put some back, and then we're going to get our 3-day weekend going here at Chat Sports. Coming up, let's get into this Raiders Report mailbag. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz, your host of the Raiders Report, and this video was recorded on May 1st, so if anything happens from now until then, just bear with us. We like to do mailbags on Thursday when we do Thursday happy hour, and all the questions that you are seeing are from loyal subscribers of the Raiders Report. So if you're like, hey, man, how can I get my questions on? Pull up to a Thursday show. Make sure you're subscribed. Use hashtag Raiders, or you can super chat. Let's go to the first question coming in here from my man King Shav, counting you down. Tommy Mellott can do the Wildcat. Tommy Mellott can do a lot, quite frankly. He can line up at QB. You can put him out at wide receiver. They're going to use him in special teams. The Raiders are going to use Mellott in a multitude of ways. And when we talked to him in our interview, he talked about his relationship with Raiders special teams coordinator Tom McMahon. And I don't know how exactly they're going to use him, but I kind of like it. I'll admit, and I forget who it was, I saw somebody comment on my Twitter, and they were like, dude, I hear gadget player, and I think of Lynn Bowden Jr. Please tell me he's not that. Tommy Mellott is a much better athlete than Lynn Bowden Jr. Tommy Mellott is a lot better of an athlete than what a lot of people realize, and he's going to add an extra element to our defense, or an extra element to our offense that defenses are just simply going to have to respect. Let's go to my man Sean Irish. Speaking of which, Sir Lance Mellott, after watching his film, the man is electric. Tomorrow is my birthday. I don't know exactly when this mailbag's going out, Sean, but I'll tell you this. Happy birthday from me, from Jeremy Chuggs. And if you pulled up to today's show, I know you already know who Sean Irish is. Make sure you guys give him an HBD down below. My guess, 34 years old. Young Psycho, thoughts on cornerback Mello Dotson. So Dotson was actually one of my favorite UDFAs that the Raiders signed. Quite frankly, he's probably my second highest graded UDFA, only behind Ja Joyner. He also can play in the slot, which does help him out a little bit. He is the career leader at the University of Kansas for the most pick sixes, so keep that in mind. And because the Raiders right now, one of their weakest positions is still nickel corner, and because Dotson has played nickel corner before, it's what he's done, 4 years of experience at Kansas, that could be one of the ways that he does end up getting on the field. I do have to mention today's show sponsor is Panda Supps. Use code GENTY for 25% off at pandasupps.com. Again, they just got some brand new BCAAs. I use the protein. I love their creatine. If you're trying to get into better shape, we are stronger together. Use code GENTY for 25% off. Let's go to Peter Thompson. Are we adding Amari? I'm guessing you're talking about Amari Cooper. I talked about Cooper on Tuesday, and I'm just going to say this. I know there was a rumor out there from a guy on Twitter by the name of Slick Rick, and he's been right sometimes, he's been wrong sometimes. I don't know any information on Amari, and I'll be real. I even reached out to Rick, and I said, hey, where are you hearing these rumors in regards to Amari Cooper? And he hasn't responded to me. I said on a show earlier this week, before the Slick Rick report came out, that the only reason why I think that we're talking about Amari Cooper is because I think that some fans heard Amari was at Max Crosby's draft party, and instead of doing the research, they were like, oh, it's Amari Cooper, when in fact it was Amari Gaynor. Again, if you want to see that, that's on our show on Tuesday. You go back and check it out. But then also, I don't see why we would sign Amari Cooper. He gave up on the Raiders, but then also in terms of need, you drafted 3 receivers. You also signed Collin Johnson. I'm not saying Collin Johnson's better than Amari Cooper, but they also have Kyle Phillips, who this team likes. Plus, we want a wide receiver that wants to block. We want to have a receiver that, is willing to put the team first. Amari Cooper has not really shown that he's willing to put the team first. At least he didn't do it on the Raiders. Here's my honest question to all of y'all out there. If your girlfriend back in 2018, 2017 left you, gave up on you the way Amari Cooper did, would you want her back in 2025? I wouldn't personally. And so because you gave up on me once, Amari, I'm good. I don't need you back, because if Amari's signing with us, that tells me that guy's really, really desperate, and he honestly might be after the 2 years that he had this past NFL season. If you guys want to get on mailbags, reminder, you got to be subscribed. You got to turn on those notifications. If you want to know what my honest opinion is, I will do it every single day. I am not a reporter. I don't want to be a reporter. I want to be a Raiders YouTuber that's able to give his opinion every single day, and that's what I do here on this channel. Let's go to Raider Rob. Mitch, your opinion, can we add a cornerback, Asante Samuel Jr. or Justin Simmons? If you were to ask me who do I think is more likely, I would say Justin Simmons, because it's a bigger need in terms of free safety. And I honestly think people hear the name Asante Samuel Jr. and just associate him with his dad, and his dad was a really good slot corner. That's not his game. I know he's a smaller corner, but he's played predominantly on the outside. I did a video earlier in the week about some Raiders free agent targets where I take a deep dive in free safeties. I talk about corners. If I think I know the Raiders the way that I think I know the Raiders, and if you were to add a corner, they're good on the outside. They have long, lanky outside corners. Though Mike Hilton and then Troy Hill would be the 2 veteran corners that can play in the slot that I would at least like to just throw out there in terms of those would be names to keep in mind. Let's go to Robert. Which draft pick, not Genty, has a breakout year? Here's another thing. I don't think Genty can have a breakout year, because in my opinion, you can't be a rookie and have a breakout year. A breakout year to me is you have 1 year and then you have a career year. I think even a second year. I don't even know if you consider that a breakout year. Brock Bowers was incredible. No doubt about it. And maybe people consider Brock Bowers a breakout year, but breakout is you doing something you've never done before. I'm hoping Genty has a great season. I'll say the player that I think is going to surprise people a lot this upcoming season is going to be Jack Besh, the second rounder. Physical wide receiver. I could see him getting somewhere around 40, 45 catches, but because of that physicality and because the just mindset he plays with, him, Brock Bowers, and then also a young guy like JPJ, they're going to set a tone for this team moving forward, and that tone's going to be, you might not want to play us in January and February because we're going to try to beat the shit out of you. Let's go to Raider 007. You keep saying we trade in Trey. Why, though? I guess you're saying Trey Tucker. Again, my job here, and I say it's my job because I've made this my job, and I'm very proud to say that. But my job here is to give you my opinion. I have not heard from any sources from the Raiders that the Raiders are shopping Trey Tucker. What people got to understand, what I do is I try to connect dots, and I try to look at rumors, I try to look at tea leaves, and I try to look at what the organization is doing. I don't want the Raiders to trade Trey Tucker. But if you're a Raiders fan and you're sitting at home right now and you're going, this Trey Tucker trade rumors is, it's stupid, I would say look at what the Raiders did. They drafted a receiver at number 2 in Jack Besh. They drafted a speedster in Dante Thornton Jr., and then they also went out and got Tommy Millott. You go out and you sign Collin Johnson. They also signed a receiver in Kyle Phillips, who this organization has a lot of ties to. Tommy Millott can play special teams. You know what I mean? Like, I think if Trey Tucker's going to get used, it's going to be used a little bit more in special teams. But there is a part of me that goes, it wouldn't shock me if this regime decided to move on from Tucker because this wasn't the regime that drafted Trey Tucker in the 3rd round. My question to you is this, and this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show because I think it's a good question that, we really haven't asked many times. Type T for trade, type K for keep. Will the Raiders trade Trey Tucker this offseason? Please let me know. If I had to guess, I would say keep, but it wouldn't shock me if they ended up trading him. What up, Richard? When are we going to get an official number 1 wide receiver? It's driving me crazy. I would say, yeah, you might not have an official number 1 wide receiver, but you do have an official number 1 running back, one of the best running backs in the NFL. You do have an official number 1 tight end in the National Football League. And hell, I bet you some people look at Brock Bowers and go, that guy's talented enough to be a number 1 receiver. I think that the way that this Raiders offense is going to work, and everybody under the sun wants a true number 1 receiver. I hear you loud and clear, but then I would respond to this and go, sometimes number 1 receivers can kind of be divas a little bit. And I'm not just saying that because of Devontae, but if this offense is going to be a smash-mouth, FU type of offense, and you need receivers that can humble themselves and aren't afraid to go out there and block, I think Jacoby Myers and Jack Besh are the perfect wide receivers for the offense that this team's going to run. Because if you want to go 2 tight end set, you want to put those 2 guys out there, and you're going to run the football with Genty, this is going to be a run-first offense that's going to try to beat the shit out of people also down the field with the vertical passing attack of Geno Smith. Would I want a number 1 receiver? Yeah, no doubt about it. But at the same time, I look at Jackson Powers-Johnson, I look at Brock Bowers, and I look at Ashton Genty, and I legitimately think in 2 years from now, maybe even 1 year, we could go, we have the best center in the NFL, we have the best tight end in the NFL, we have the best running back in the NFL. That sounds like a winning success to me because wide receivers cost a lot of money. Those 3 positions cost money, but not nearly the amount as a wide receiver does. Let's go to Young Psycho. Another good question coming in here, my man. What do you think about getting Asante, move Nate to free safety, inquire, let Darian Porter, JB Asante lock up the skies? Nate who? Nate Hobbs isn't on the team anymore, so I'm a little bit confused about this. Again, Asante Samuel's an outside corner, but I believe in Darian Porter. I believe in Jacorian Bennett. I believe in Eric Stokes. I think that we have some good outside corners. If you're going to add a corner, if it was up to me, I'd go get a veteran and Mike Hilton, let him play in the slot because having a veteran sometimes can be really important for a very young and inexperienced cornerback room. But Asante Samuel, I think, is just a name that people associate with his dad and think that he could play in the slot. Maybe he can. He just hasn't done it yet. And if he hasn't done it yet, I don't know if that's going to be something that he's willing to just sign up and go out there and do. We got some more questions coming up here on the Raiders Report in just a moment. But again, today's show sponsored by Panda Supps. This is the workout company that I use. I use their protein, I use their creatine, and I use their brand new BCAAs. I am somebody that when I go to the gym, I want to get the most out of my workout. So, you take a scoop of your protein, but it's also really important to be able to get a scoop of BCAAs in there to make sure that you're staying hydrated and then to make sure that you are replenishing your muscles. Use code GENTY for 25% off at pandasupps.com. I don't know if this is the best analogy, but this is just the analogy that I think of where protein is gas in a car. BCAAs is like oil, where it might be overlooked, but I would make an argument that oil is even more important to your car than gasoline because gasoline, like if you can run a car with gasoline, but you can't ruin a car, just like If you don't put oil in your car, you're going to ruin it. If you don't train and you don't use BCAs, you're just not going to get the most out of your workout, and your engine's not going to be being able to go out there and do it to the high level that you're hoping it can. I will say this. If anybody uses code GENTY at pandasupps.com, and again, this link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. If anybody wants to go check out any other products, if you want to ask me which products I use, again, I use protein, BCAs, creatine. Alex actually really likes the greens. Nootropics really help Chugs and I stay focused. I'm not going to lie to you. I had a lot of nootropics during the NFL draft. The Sleepy's also really great if you have trouble going to bed at night. Alex sometimes uses the Sleepy because she's doesn't always have the ability to be able to wind down like I do. And if anybody spends over $100 using code GENTY, Panda Supps, they're going to throw in a shaker and they're going to throw a bag in for free. Code GENTY, 25% off, pandasupps.com. You do have to be in the United States, though, to claim that offer. So I'm just throwing that out there right now. I know, sorry, Martin. Sorry to some of our Canada fans as well, but, Blinky also is out there in England. Let's go to U.S. Marine 1073. Between Cooper and Ruggs, I'd rather give Ruggs a second chance because Max knows the struggle of addiction versus giving up on your team. I'll just leave it like this. I don't want either of these players on the Raiders, and I'll be real. I don't think the Raiders would even consider Henry Ruggs for what he did. And maybe I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I know the Raiders did say they weren't going to give up on Ruggs, but I think that was more just from they're not going to give up on him from a human being because I've never met Ruggs, but everybody that I've talked to in regards to him says that, honestly, he was a good dude. He made a just horrific decision, but I will never root for Henry Ruggs, and that's only because I understand that people deserve a second chance. To me, him not spending his life in jail is a second chance where, again, horrible situation happened. I'll just leave it like this. If the Tinter family has forgiven him, then who am I to say he can't join the NFL? I'll say it like that. What up, Venthrak? The rookie jersey numbers, I actually don't think that the rookie jersey numbers have been released yet as far as I know. I was talking to Dante Thornton Jr.'s agent today, and I was also talking to his manager over the weekend. We're going to have I shouldn't say it's 100% yet, but I think we're going to be able to get him on the show here, and we're going to have an opportunity to potentially do a jersey giveaway. Once the rookies announce their jersey numbers, that ball will get rolling a lot quicker. So because I haven't heard word on a jersey from Thornton and his agent and his team, I don't think that any of the rookie numbers have been picked yet. Again, that's as of May 1st right now. Let's go to Jay Peace. What up, Jay? After the draft, do you feel like we are playoff contenders? If not, what do you feel we are missing to be potential contenders? I think that we are playoff contenders, where I think that we have the opportunity to get into the playoffs. Do I think that we have a football team right now that can run deep into the playoffs? I think that that's still still too early for me to say that. I'm concerned about free safety. I'm concerned about our linebacker room. I'm concerned about nickel. If we were able to upgrade at those three positions, I would confidently say that, yes, I expect this team to be able to make the playoffs because Geno Smith is a legit quarterback. Ashton Genty is a hell of a running back. Our offense is going to surprise a lot of people because we also finally have an offensive coordinator that is actually good at his job, is probably the best way that I can put it. I am going into the season right now with the mentality of we can win 9 games. If Geno Smith can have a winning record on those Seahawks teams that he was on with how bad their offensive line was, and, Jonathan Hankins, which shout out to my man, Big Time Hank, entering year 13 with Seattle. I was talking to Hank because he did an interview the other day with Crosby, and Hank even said, I don't think people realize, how poor that Seahawks offensive line was, which, now he's going back to the team, but how poor the offensive line was and how well Geno played in those situations. I think that this is a team that can win 9 games, but because I think that we are going to play a brand of FU football, anything is possible. And when you run the rock the way that we're going to be able to run the rock, and with our defensive line, if we stay healthy, we could beat anybody. And I don't think that we've been able to say that for many years being a Raider fan. What up, Reb? Which UDFA player would you like to make the team? Hi, Marsh. I'm on TV. Marsh just looked over, went like this. Which UDFA player do you like to make the team? I think Ja Joyner is an interesting name, and I say that because I feel bad every time I bring up Charles Snowden's name. I always, say the July 22nd court date that he has. But I do think that that's a big factor. If I was a new regime, I wouldn't want to have to deal with anything that's not football and that's non-football related. And because Joyner is a good player, somebody that I thought, could have gotten drafted. We had around 5, round 6 draft grade on him. That's somebody to keep in mind. I think Mello Dotson is a player to keep in mind. I'll also throw out the name, oh man, I can't think of it right now, which is driving me nuts. Greedy Vance, slot corner, could be somebody to keep in mind. The fullback / tight end, who is just Conroy. He is a unbelievable athlete. He scored like a 9.98 RAS score for tight ends. Because this team values athletes, could be an interesting guy to keep in mind. Let's go to Roche. What up, Roche? Washing tape on Jack Besh, badass. Jack Besh is a badass, and I mean this. If y'all haven't seen the call where John Spytek calls Jack Besh, watch it. I swear to y'all, there was one night last week, I got home. It was after, it was Saturday, because Saturday is day 3 of the draft. We got home a little bit earlier. I went home that night, and I was watching the call videos. I watched the call video to Ashton Genty. I watched the call video for Dante Thornton Jr. I watched the call video for, Jack Besh. The Jack Besh one was my favorite because the whole time you could tell how fired up he is, and you could tell, he's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder, but he's also playing with a heavy heart. And I think when people play with a heavy heart, they do things that people, don't do, where I can remember my mom when I was a kid always talking about, if a car fell on you, I'd be able to pick it up because of adrenaline. Jack Besh is playing for his brother Tiger, and 7 to heaven. I think it actually would have been really cool if he would have been number 7. I'm just being totally honest. I know Gino's going to be that number, but Jack Besh is maybe my favorite player that this team drafted, and I only say that because he has a Raider mentality, and you can see it clear as day. What up, Rob? Is cornerback Jalen Ramsey a fit and possibility? I think Jalen Ramsey can fit on any NFL team because he's still really good at football. I don't really understand why people think he's washed, because I get his numbers maybe weren't as good as some years past, but let's also remember how bad that Miami Dolphins offense was, right? Imagine if a Raiders fan were to be like, oh, but that Raiders defense stunk when Jimmy Garoppolo, Aiden O'Connell, and Brian Hoyer, Gardner Minshew was the quarterback. I think a lot of us would fire back with, well, yeah, the defense struggled at the end of some games, and the defense struggled at times, but that's because they were always on the damn field because the offense couldn't move the ball. The Dolphins had maybe the worst offense in the National Football League last season, especially when they lost Tua, and I do think that really impacted the Dolphins' defense overall. Though, outside corner, again, not a need. Would he be the best corner on our team? Maybe. I still would say yes, he's probably better than Ja'Cory Bennett. But there are some people out there that wonder if Ramsey could make the transition to free safety the way that Charles Woodson did, the way that Patrick Peterson did. That would be pretty fun as far as I'm concerned. Let's go to Melly. What up, Melly? I'm not going to lie. I still feel like we don't have a top 30 wide receiver. Plus, for the love of God, we need a coverage safety and a linebacker. Jacoby Myers might not be a top 30 wide receiver on every NFL team out there. He might not be. But he's a top 30 wide receiver for the role that he's going to play on the Raiders. And I think that needs to be the point that Raiders fans need to think about. If you're going to go out there and have Ashton Genty be your running back, we are going to run the football. So you need wide receivers that, 1, are willing to block, and 2, can block. I think also when you look at a quarterback that is as accurate as Geno Smith is, you need to be able to have wide receivers that when the ball's on target, they don't drop it. Jacoby Myers didn't drop a single ball last season. Jack Besh had only 4 drops his entire college career and dropped only 1 ball. When you look at the skill set that Jacoby Myers is, and then you combine that with the skill set Jack Besh is, they're very similar, so they have something in mind. And then you have 2 receivers in, honestly, 3 receivers, and Tommy Millott, Thornton, and then also Trey Tucker that have 4.3 speed that can take a top off of a defense. So I don't totally disagree with what you're saying, but you have to be able to respect the speed of those 3 guys. Plus, you have to be able to respect the one-on-one winning ability. Plus, you have to understand they're going to be able to go out there and block and do a lot of different things. I don't look at it as just top 30 overall receiver. we have receivers that fit this offense. And that, I would say, is more important than adding I would say Devontae Adams or Jacoby Myers on this Raiders team right now. I think Jacoby's a better fit because of the offense that we are going to run. Let's go to Lucky Raider 777. Mitch, how much confidence do you have in Pete Carroll compared to AP, since AP had such a poor quarterback situation and Pete has Geno? I mean, I'll tell you this. I wanted Antonio Pierce to work out. And it's a shame that, the Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury whole situation didn't end up working out. And it sucks that, Antonio Pierce got stuck with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. I know us Raider fans were hopeful the season was going to go different, but I think all of us in the back of our mind was sitting there going, if our defense isn't a top 5 defense, I don't know how many games that this team's going to be able to win. Defense ends up getting super injured. We get unlucky, and the offense was, terrible. If Geno Smith was the Raiders quarterback, I do wonder if Antonio Pierce would still have a job. But I think also Pete Carroll is well respected around all NFL circles. And Pete Carroll was able to get a job right away. I think it's very telling, and I'm not trying to throw shade at Antonio Pierce, but he's not working in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, how many head coaches that you see get fired don't even get another job as just like an assistant or, even like a linebackers coach again? And he didn't do that. So AP showed me that he was way over his head as a head coach. He's going to get another shot, whether it's in college or whether it's in the NFL, because he is a good motivator. But we went into every single game last season having the worst head coach. And that's just that's a fact. I always said last year, AP didn't get a good hand. No doubt. But he also didn't play that hand well at all. He was given 2 and a 3 in Texas Hold'em, and he was going all in with it. Not the way I would have done it. Reminder to anybody out there, if I didn't get to your question, I apologize. You can always hit me up on Instagram and on Twitter. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. I always do my best to check my DMs, and since I got a little bit more time this weekend, I'll be able to check out those DMs a little bit more. Appreciate everyone that subscribed. Appreciate everyone that was able to tune in to today's show. Patrick Roche. I got you, Patrick.
And did we get to this one? You talked about watching tape on bench.
Yep.
I thought we did, but yeah. And Young Psycho, you sent in this, but obviously we got to your super chat. As I told you in the chat, patience is a virtue. We're getting through all the questions, but I'm pretty sure we answered yours. I think you had 2 on there, actually.
Correct. Actually, I'm looking. Terry Park, I got you. Mr. Jonathan Smith, I got you. Charles Dixon, I got you. And then Darth, what up, Darth? $10 Venmo right now. You would go home with $90 here on the Raiders Report. $90 to the winner. $10 Venmo, Mitchell Renz 365. This is Thursday Happy Hour after all. And Patrick Roche! Bang! Come on, Roche!
Put your hands up in Roche. Hey, hey.
So I'm worried to put my hands up in Roche, because I also realized I didn't wear Mando today, and I have gray on.
Hey. Navman, I see your super. It's taking a second to pull it. So I'm actually going to go to JMO because he was asking really nicely in the chat for us to go to his question, which we didn't get to in the mailbag.
What up, JMO?
But he wants to know if there's an upgrade in nickel, linebacker, or DT for free agency targets.
Nickel, I would say Troy Hill and also Mike Hilton would be the 2 names to keep in mind. If you want a little bit more on those 2 players, look up Raiders free agent targets. I put out a video literally yesterday on it, way more in depth. Linebacker.
You talked about linebackers too.
Kaiser White, Juwan Bentley. But again, I'm not overly excited about either of those options. Defensive tackle, I don't think the Raiders are going to do that. I'm pretty confident that the Raiders like their DTs that they have right now. Now, sure, you can always upgrade if there's a certain situation. Let's do it. But I don't see that being the realm of possibilities for the Raiders. I would say their defensive line is pretty well set right now. JMOH, cheers to you. Patrick Roche, cheers to you, brother.
Raider Shield family. Oh, I don't know who this person is. Interesting. Do you think Carlson will offer his jersey number to Genty? And secondly, I mean, Raider Rob is hoping he does. Secondly, if he does, will Genty just tell him, no, that's yours due to his humble nature? I can see 22 from Stokes.
So what, 22 last year was Alexander Madison. The only thing why I think it could happen is because Genty said number 2 is a family number for him. So maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. And you're probably right. I bet you, if they asked Genty, hey, do you want us to make Daniel Carlson give up you that number? I don't know if he would say yes, but I could also see Daniel Carlson sitting there going, you know what? I'm in the final year of my contract. I have $0 million guaranteed. I'm 29 years old. I'd like to be able to try to get another contract with the Raiders, and obviously it has way more to do with how he performs this season, but I'm going to try to stick around and do everything that I possibly can to make sure that I'm not a story. And I think kickers stay in the NFL, punters, kickers stay in the league longer when you actually don't hear about them. And that's just the truth. When you don't hear about kickers, it's probably because you got a good one. And for a guy like Daniel Carlson, I would imagine he would want to stick around in Las Vegas because I know him and A.J. Cole are very, very close. But
they're so close.
If Genty gets number 2, awesome. But I don't know if it matters to Genty all that much. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
Man, I don't know if you saw earlier in the show, Raider Rob, who real one, he's been with the channel for a couple of years now. He already ordered his Genty jersey number 2. Custom ordered it. So at least there's one guy rocking around Las Vegas with a number 2 Genty jersey. Maybe it's not Ashton himself, but at least Raider Rob will.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And I wanted y'all to help out my man Mitch a little bit because we wanted to kind of promote this Tommy Malott interview a little bit more on social media. So if y'all could do me a quick flavor, I'm going to put Mitch's tweet in there.
Please.
I told Mitch I really wasn't feeling drinking today. But how about this? If we can get, there's 560 people in the chat.
Uh-huh.
If we can get 50 retweets right there, a free beer bong.
Okay, I got you.
50 retweets, Mitch. Pull it up. Let me know where we're at.
I'm going to pull it up to the scene. I think the other reason why, believe it or not, again, this stuff does help us is, when you talk to agents of a young player that's just getting drafted, especially a late-round guy, they want, fans to rally around them, and they want, some love because they don't always get it compared to these other guys that are drafted a little bit earlier. So I think it also shows agents, players that, hey, man, when I join the Raiders Report, I get a following. And the more and more times that we do that, and the more and more, like I was talking to Tommy, and he told me, like, straight up, he's like, dude, I couldn't believe, how many people showed me love, how many people followed him on social media. And it doesn't surprise me that, I got a few text messages from some other agents that were like, hey, saw this. Would love to be able to get this opportunity. So if you guys could, click that retweet button on the link that Chugs just put down there in the live chat. And again, I can go give some shout-outs here to some peeps that ended up doing it, which I don't know if I can actually click on this now. Oh, I have to do it on my phone. I can't see who retweeted unless I'm on my phone. So the names that I got here, I see LA Crash Dog, thank you so much. Misty Williamson, thank you very much. Jorge Pola, I got you, dude. Thank you. Robert D. Robertson, what a name. Bobcats Football, I think that one's from a little bit earlier. Also, it's been wild. The amount of Montana people that have followed me on social media in the last 24, 48 hours.
Rebel.
The amount of Rebel people from Rebel, Montana. It's been pretty cool, man. It's been pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. TJ.
Johnny Smith, thank you, my man. Sean M., thank you, brother.
TJ, if you don't know what it is, you can't afford it.
When I got sad last year with the Raiders, I went back to Jack Jones' interception against the Chargers. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Defense can change everything. Defense can change everything. You want to try to do a Raiders?
Raiders.
Raiders. If I yell anymore, TJ, my voice is going to go. But I agree with you, dude, where defense can change everything. But I also think that defenses get opportunities like that when you're able to get pressure on 4. And you go back and you look at those games. The games like that Jack Jones was at his best at were, the Chiefs game, that Chargers game. The Raiders were able to get pressure with 4, maybe 5, and they were able to do it quick, which really forced, the quarterback to make a quick decision. And it's one of the reasons why I like what the Raiders are doing, because they're going, all right, if I can get after you with 4, I have so many athletic corners that, they might not be able to cover a guy for the long run, but if you're going to make a quick decision in less than 3 seconds, less than 2.5 seconds to get a ball out, my guys are athletic enough and my guys are physical enough to be able to go up and compete right away and win in that first 10 yards. It's going to be fun to watch the Raiders. Let's go to my man, Ben Thrack. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Seemed like our offensive line wasn't very good at run blocking last year. Did we do enough to address that, or is Genty in for a tough time as a rookie? I think our offensive line is going to surprise some people, where I could make an argument that we have a very average offensive line. And if Colton Miller and JPJ do what they're supposed to do, then that's great. To me, what's going to be interesting is, what are we going to do at right guard? Is it going to be Dylan Parham? Is it going to be Alex Kappa? What do we do at left guard? Is it going to be Jordan Meredith? Is it going to be, somebody along the lines of Dylan Parham? What is DJ Glaze going to look like in his second year? If you told me that DJ Glaze gets better, and if you told me that Alex Kappa's better than what he was last year, which, Christ, he better be, and if you tell me that Jordan Meredith and Dylan Parham play exactly the same way, we're going to have a top 16 offensive line in the NFL. And when you combine that top 16 offensive line with probably one of the best run blocking, I'll call it receiving groups. I think, honestly, if you were to put Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, Jack Besh, and say, show me another NFL team that's got a tight end wide receiver duo that is as talented and can block the way that those 3 names are, I don't know if you're going to be able to find a better duo, or a better trio. And I think when you add everything into the equation, Aston Genty's going to have a good year. Again, injuries can happen. A lot of stuff can happen. But this team's going to be a really good football team on the offensive side of the football. I don't want to say I'm not worried about it, but I'm less worried about the offense than I am the defense, which I didn't know if I was going to say that. Let's go to TJ. I think we already got that one.
No,
yep, we already got that
Goots.
What up, Goots? Raider Nation till I die. Geno to Bowers in stride with this new offense. Other teams can't hide.
Raiders in 7.
I was going to say, Raiders in 7. Geno to Bowers is going to be great. Geno to Thornton is going to be great. He's going to be able to spread the ball to a lot of different players. We're going to be able to beat you in a lot of different ways, because you're not going to be able to double team anybody on this team because of the speed we have to beat you down the field. But then if you double team somebody, that's going to create a one-on-one opportunity for, who are you going to double team? I don't know, because Jacoby's good enough to win one-on-ones. Bowers definitely good enough to win one-on-ones. If we get another guy that's good enough to win one-on-ones, look out. Look out. What up, Suave? If McGregor said the gorilla would win over 100, that's fine. I think you got to look at the 100 men versus the gorilla. You can look at it 2 different ways. Though I saw one the other day that was like these 100 athletes versus a gorilla. The 100 athletes that were featured in that post would win.
Yeah.
I mean, if you told me it's like guys the size of Shaq, the Big Show, and just get some big defensive tackles like J.J. Watt, Aaron Donald. Who? Pegues. Get him out there. Pegues going to run through a gorilla.
Glad you showed your face today, man. After that embarrassing loss yesterday, Mr. Ron. I'm glad you showed your face today. I thought you were going to wimp out on me and not show up to the live show today, Raider On, because, I said at the beginning, if the Warriors don't win in Game 6, it's over, Ron. If it's back to Houston, Steph and the crew better book those tickets to Aruba, because they're not winning a Game 7 in H-Town, Ron. I'm telling you that. So I'm really glad you decided to show up. I'm really glad, Ron.
3 minutes later.
I'm just saying.
I really was going to turn into a SpongeBob meme.
Steph can't wait to hit those beaches. Steph can't wait to hit those beaches.
What up, Gilbert? Good boxing fights tomorrow and on Saturday.
Can't lie, not a boxing guy.
I like boxing sometimes. And I think you have to understand boxing to appreciate it, where, I can remember watching like the Pacquiao fights, the Mayweather fights. I don't think they're very interesting. Jake Paul, I think, is ruining boxing. But when you do get a good fight, I agree it's electric. It just, to me, it's not even comparable to UFC anymore.
Yeah.
And also with playoff basketball, I can't imagine myself picking a boxing fight over an NBA playoff game. Maybe that's bad for me to say, but it's the truth, man. It's the truth.
Raider Ron says, hope you saved up your PTO days after the Warriors win.
Come on, Ron. Go get him. Go get him, Ron.
Which, speaking of playoff basketball, we're going to put the link to our Knicks channel in their live show, because in a little bit they're going to be going live. I know their game's not until a little bit later on.
Yeah, they're going live in about an hour.
If you're on your laptop, what I want you to do is take this link that I'm putting in there, and I want you to put it open in another window. I know Rebel's got multiple windows on his laptop ready. I want y'all to get that ready. Also, if you've never been to our Knicks channel, go there, give it a sub, and go watch March tonight. I promise you, it's worth the price of admission, which is $0.
You're going to have fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Marsh gets after it. And I think Marsh, the way he is with the Knicks, is very similar to the way that we are with the Raiders. We are just
I was going to say, the only channel that beat us for most entertaining live show was Marsh and the Knicks.
Yep. Which
Mitch still hasn't recovered.
Nah, I still don't love it. I'm gonna be honest. Again, happy for him, but at the same time, I want to be number one, right? That's why you wake up every morning. You gotta be the best. So before we get out of here,
and for the crazy guys over here,
yeah,
Marsh has awesome deals over there. They have like $100 boots.
Yeah. Which, yikes.
So if you want to go F up Marsh, a lot easier to do that over on Knicks than here on Raiders.
It's you guys could ruin his day real quick. Real quick. Also, Ron, if the Warriors lose tonight or tomorrow, excuse me, I will try to be live on Sunday with Smitty for the final game. So hopefully you pull up and party with us.
They do. They're a little bit more loose with the language over there, but that's New York. That's New York for you.
Yeah, I'm. To be honest, I'm just not an F fan, like an F word fan, and it's always been the word that, Mom didn't like it, and she was super laid back. She let me get away with a lot more than my dad ever did. So the fact that was like the only thing she ever yelled at me for, it's just stuck in my brain. I'm just not a big fan of it. Rebel, Marshall Green, bang! It's going to happen, dude. It's going to happen. You know what else is going to happen? It's your final chance to get in for a duck race. It is a $10 Venmo. You would go home with $120 here on today's show. We are also 5 likes away from giving away another entry spot, a free duck. So how about this? The next person that gets in, I'm giving you a free duck here on the Raiders Report. Just so be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for it. Buddy Bear says, plus a hundo gets you in the Knicks Hall of Fame club. He goes, I put Mitch and Chugs in there. Buddy Bear, you're a freaking legend, dude. You are a freaking legend, dude. No doubt about it. TJ Parkinson, the person that is getting the extra duck I just saw is Misty Williamson. So, Misty, I got you. Thank you for being a real one. You in. Rustin Long is in. So, Chugs, I'm going to send you the list. Let's make sure that we check it twice. Oh, wait, I got to send it to TV. 10 to win. Right now, if my math is mathing correctly, $135. 10 to win, $135. What do you got that shit grin on? That's your up to no good grin.
No. I was picking the race. I was picking the race.
All right.
TJ.
Mitch and Chugs, the Steelers going to be a problem. Browns could be a problem. Rams, DA and Stafford problem. Yes or no?
Steelers, TBD. They don't have a quarterback yet.
I was just going
Same
to
with
say
the Browns. So I don't think I can call the Steelers or Browns a problem.
Out of all those teams, I would be more worried about the Rams.
Oh, dude, Stafford, I think that is the problem. If I'm rating these problems, it's easily Stafford and Adams, the Steelers because of their defense. The Browns are way down here.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Cleveland. Again, if you don't have a quarterback, we saw it last season. Like, you could have a great defense. And I think by all accounts, when that season started last season, we had a top 5 defense. If you don't have a quarterback, it don't matter. Like, it literally does not matter if you do not have a quarterback. All right, Chugs, I'm going to send you another one, Ron Raz.
Yep. Anthony Green, my man.
I'm going to send you another one, my man can't walk. And then I see 93 Nav. So now it is 10 to win, 150.
Oh, you're gonna rile Rebel up here.
Shannon lied. Luca cried. LeBron is fired. It was always Wolves in 5. Suck it, Rebel. Suck it, Rebel. I'll tell you what.
Which, honestly, though,
I wish that series was better.
If there's any fans I will never feel bad about, it's Lakers and Yankees fans.
Of course.
If a Lakers fan ever is like, "Oh my God," I'm like, dude, especially like Raider Nation, I think would agree. Like, for a Laker fan to be like, "Man, I can't believe we lost," it's like, dude, shut up,
stop. Like, imagine how old you are, and imagine if your favorite team won that many championships. The Yankees are what, 27 championships? Like, I don't feel bad for you. I'm sorry.
Sorry. But I'm not sorry.
You're not going to get any sympathy from me.
Sorry, but actually at the same time, I'm
sorry,
not.
hashtag not sorry. Noah Suave. Chugs. My Lakers didn't show up, but the T-Wolves didn't prove anything to me personally. I think it was more of my Lakers, F the Rockets, show up, so I'll give you all your flowers.
He said for real, Rockets showed up.
I read it as F the Rockets.
FR is for real.
Oh, I didn't see the R. I just saw the F. I read F Rockets. I mean, you got to give the Rockets credit, though, because I think when you're a team down 3-1, you learn a lot about what that team's going to bring. You can either fold like a lawn chair, or you can go out there and you can get it done. Those are your two options. Suave, appreciate you, man.
Today, it's Halloween in the spring. He did the mash. He did the monster mash. He did the mash.
All right, Anthony said, Shannon lied, Luca cried, LeBron fried. It was always Wolves in 5. All right, yeah, that makes more sense. I was like, honestly, it was great until fired. LeBron fried. I love it. I love it.
He did the mash.
Da-da-da-da.
He did the monster mash.
Winner of this race is going to go home with $150.
It was a graveyard smash.
3, 2, 1. Here we go.
He did the mash. Ron Raspberry.
You going to say goodbye? Ron Raz right now out to an early lead. This is how Allie's going to be walking home from the bar tonight. Like a zombie.
She did the mash.
Da-na-na-na.
I did the monster mash.
Patrick Grosh out to a lead here. Watch out for Carlos Carpenter. Norman Hernandez. What happened to his hands? I mean, unless Carlos has just got gigantic hands. Terry Parkinson has got some wild hair right now. I'm not going to lie to you. You know who Patrick Grosh looks like? Who was the crazy kid in the Wild Thornberries? See you, Petey.
I love you.
Patrick Grosh looks like the crazy kid from the Wild Thornberries. You know who I'm talking about? You know Wild Thornberries? I think that's a yes.
That guy.
What happened to Carlos Carpenter? Oh, my gosh. Gunny! Can't walk! He said I can walk! My man! Carl, I'm so happy for you, dude.
I like the zombies.
Honestly, the zombies were kind of interesting.
I didn't know Darth Fatass got 2 T's in his name. Extra fat.
I was just going to say, actually, it could be a get-around, because usually when I do F-A-T-A-S-S, it blanks it out.
Right.
Maybe that's the get-around, Darth.
Maybe it's like Fat Taz. Fatayas.
Fatayas. You got a Fatayas.
Noah Santana. He showered me with super chats and love on my last Celtics stream. It was very nice to see him.
I was going to say, I was a little bit
I was
concerned.
going to finish the sentence. Get your head out of the gutter.
I mean, even that
God.
sentence could have been bad. Even that one could have been bad.
Anyways.
I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you guys.
I'm going to miss you. It's going to stink. You're right. I'll tell you this. You're not wrong.
Chugs is growing out his hair. Should you get a fresh blowout?
Oh, I think it's time to get out of here. All right, y'all. We are hopping on out of here. Carl, Can't Walk, my guy. If you could please confirm down below that you received $150, I would greatly appreciate that. I just sent it to you.
I don't know if there's going to be much to follow after this, but you can. Yeah, I'll be on TikTok. You can always follow me on Twitter at ARBarefoot. I'll still be keeping up with Chat Sports. Maybe be sending cookies through Chipper and Rolly, so the treats may not stop.
But
it's always been fun popping in on Raiders Report.
Top 5 people that you will miss here, besides me and Pitch.
Oh my God, I can't have you guys in my top 5. Then nobody. God, it's just.
Wow.
I mean, you guys, it's like all 5 right there.
Wow.
Just multiple times.
Oh, man. All right, y'all. If you guys could say farewell to Ali, a.k.a. Salami. I don't even really quite remember how that joke started as long as ago as what it did. But you've been here, what, almost 2 years?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Pretty wild. And, again, we've gone through a lot of different people here at Chat Sports, but this is probably one of the toughest ones for me. I'll always wish you the best.
I love that.
There you go.
Is there enough to have 4?
Oh, God, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, we've had like 10 women that worked
Oh,
here.
heck yeah. Well, I'm
And
honored.
I don't know if any of them lasted more than 2 years, but
Honestly, it was the Raiders Report that kept me going.
you know,
Just constantly hearing the word bang and, being called salami. It just brightened my day.
nah, man, it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough.
For me, too.
All right, y'all, let's hop on out of here. Allie, we got some plans. We're gonna go celebrate her Chat Sports career.
Push the intro one last time.
No, it's too sad. It's too sad. And this seat is really warm.
It's a warm seat.
It's a warm
Well,
seat.
he's got a lot of junk in that trunk. There's a lot of junk in that trunk.
It's been
All right,
a
y'all.
long day.
Have a legendary Thursday.
without you, my friend.
The next time you're going to see
and
me
I tell you
live on this show
all about it when I see
is going to be
you
Tuesday,
again.
4 p.m. Eastern Time.
We've come a long way
I am doing a podcast this weekend.
from where we began. And I'll
With
tell
another
you
Raiders
all
podcaster on
about it
YouTube.
when I
Saturday.
see you again.
It's going to be Saturday at, oh, man,
When I see you again.
I think 1 p.m.
Oh, whoa, ooh, when I see you again.
What's crazy is Can't Walk is still walking. These poor zombies are putting in some serious steps here. To Rebel, to Suave, to my man 93, Nab Man. Appreciate all y'all again tuning in to today's show. I will be live again Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If any breaking news happens over the weekend, I promise you, I'm going to keep you up to date. And I will be doing another Raiders podcast. It's going to be live on a show on Saturday. Be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So to me, to Chugs, farewell to Barefoot. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. Let's go Warriors.